Good morning, listeners, and welcome back to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ron Couming of both RCS Technology Solutions and RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by attracting, converting, and retaining their ideal customers and clients using various Internet marketing techniques and methods. The purpose of this show, Internet Marketing and Business Solutions with Ronald Couming on WCAP 980 AM weekly, Mondays from 11 to 12 a.m. to 12 p.m., is to bring on subject matter experts from around the globe who have already been there and done that. So the entrepreneurs, business owners, and those who wish to be, who listen to the show, can listen and learn, hear some of the trials and tribulations that our guests have gone through and maybe avoid those or learn how to navigate through them if they had the misfortune of actually being in the middle of them when they're here, and then also maybe availing themselves of some of the products and services that these subject matter experts talk about. One thing I want to let you know is no guest pays to be on this show, no guest gets paid to be on this show, and I don't get paid to do this show. So this is totally everybody just doing something to give back, and nobody is obligated to anybody. So this is just totally free. And I want to tell you, I'm super excited today because a friend of mine and an entrepreneur extraordinaire is our first guest today. And our guest is Alec Stern, and Alex is the CEO and co-founder of Point2Point Global. Alex has more than 25 years of experience as a founder and hypergrowth agent for companies across industries, including Constant Contact. Alec is a primary member of Constant Contact's founding team as one of the original three in an attic, and was with the company for 18 years from startup to IPO to a $1.1 billion acquisition. As CEO and co-founder of international shipping and logistic provider Point2Point Global, Alex defines the company's vision, mission, and strategy to provide innovative customization, international mail and e-commerce logistics services to customers while pursuing opportunities for expansion via strategic partnerships and acquisitions. Alex Stern also performs hundreds of keynote addresses worldwide. Alex has become known as America's startup success expert for his popular sessions at conferences like Secret Knock, Powerteam International, Habitude Warrior Conference, and City Summit, just to name a few. While on tour, Alex has shared the stage with the likes of Ashton Kutcher, Jack Canfield, Victor Hanson, Kevin Harrington, and Ronald Couming. Throw that in there. As one of the Northeast's 20 most accomplished entrepreneurs, he is a limited partner in Boston-based G20 Ventures, which provides early traction capital for East Coast enterprise tech startups. Alex is also an angel investor in a number of rising startups in various industries. Alex, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ron.
How's everything?
Everything's great, thanks. How about yourself?
Excellent. Where are you calling in from today?
So I'm right here in Back Bay, Boston, on this lovely rainy day.
Nice. Yeah, we do. We have guests calling in from all over the country. I, too, am in Boston right now, and as you said, the weather is less than appealing out there, so it's nice to be inside.
That's right.
That's a great bio, but I've known you, as we spoke about earlier, I've known you for, quite a few years now, and beyond your entrepreneurial accomplishments, you really are an outstanding person as well. But can you tell us, the listeners, a little bit more about you? And, feel free to cover some of your accomplishments as well, but just a little bit more about who Alec Stern really is and how you got started, and maybe even tell us a little bit about Constant Contact and that startup.
Sure, yeah. You did cover a lot of ground there. I appreciate that. I guess the thing I would just say is that I, like anyone else, started my career. I was in sales and business development, account management, got sort of the bug for just being close and working with customers in a consultative way. I originally thought I was going to go into marketing, but I guess one of the things my dad instilled in me was if you want to go into marketing, you got to really understand the customer, so start in sales. And once I got in sales and got that sort of the bug and had some success with it, I stayed. So I did pick up sort of overseeing marketing in several different startups and from my past. But sales was the sort of the first, kind of first place where I began. My bloodline is in terms of kind of what I've focused on was always in tech. That was where I sort of began and stayed. I have since gone on and gotten involved in a bunch of other areas well beyond that, including manufactured products, as mentioned with Point2Point Global, shipping and logistics, to cannabis, to real estate, to sort of a whole series of different sort of industries. And I guess just a little bit, maybe a couple other things about me. I'm very active in sort of nonprofit. Got that from my mom, sort of from a young age to sort of give back, and was really active and have been in the community doing a bunch of things with nonprofits and assisting at all different levels to basically raise their voice, raise awareness, and raise funds. So really active there. I also, I think one of the things I'm most passionate about is inner city and sort of getting into sort of the urban areas and working with everyone from, kids from, I've even gone down as low as junior high, but mostly sort of high school on up, including small businesses in those communities, and just working with, accelerators or, hackathons or sort of boot camps and speaking and spending time, with folks that are wide-eyed with ideas but just don't know what to do with them. So I really sort of spend my time to sort of invest in kind of that as a true give back, and something I'm really passionate about, to just to work with kids where in some of these communities they're making a choice between do I go into join a gang, do I steal something, start selling drugs, or do I maybe try to sort of incubate an idea or work on someone else's idea and try to make a difference in my school, my home, and my community. And so it's been really exciting to give kids a chance with something else to focus on and sort of get to their creative side, their innovative side, if you will, and work with them, and then be able to track that and see how, many of them, continue to either work on the things that they set out to focus on or have come up with other ideas. And through that, I've gotten involved with the city with several different task forces for urban innovation, civic innovation, small business innovation, and finding ways to just really help, Main Street in the community and also kids and their families. So.
Alex, that is huge. And you were talking, and I had to take notes because you hit so many excellent points. Some of it I want to go back to where you distinguish between sales and marketing. But first, I want to give you kudos, helping the inner city youth and making choices, between gangs and business or staying in school. I mean, this is such, it's such a fundamentally important helping people on such a level like that and working with the MPOs. All the other business accolades aside, I mean, that's huge. So, not that my thank you means anything, but it's really nice when a person of your level and your caliber is giving back at such an important level.
Thanks, and I would just say to that point, everyone can chip in and help. It doesn't matter what your background is or kind of what success you may or may not have had. Everyone has something that they can provide in value, and from their experiences, from their life, from others they've sort of have seen and can take learnings from and then give back. And I think it's just really important that I'm obviously with Constant Contact being the first SaaS solution working with Main Street businesses. And, over 750,000 of them, around the world, that we were able to assist and help them take their business to the next level, if you will. it's just great to raise the water level of the businesses in your community against sort of big box, competitors and so forth, which was, the original premise of what we set out to do at Constant Contact. But also just, the more we do within our communities and our main streets, if you will, and then also, the communities around us, which we may not necessarily, in some cases, even visit, but we can just easily get out and assist and help those that simply just need potentially a mentor, advisor, some advice, some direction, someone to look up to. A lot of times it's just as simple as not having anyone that they look around that they could look up to. I mean, a lot of these kids that I talk to, family members, unfortunately have been killed or are jailed or have abandoned the family. They just don't necessarily have sort of, the mentor or someone to look up to. And any of us can provide, just simple things to help set a direction or a course for them that would be different than what they only know, which in a lot of cases is not necessarily the best road to sort of travel on.
I love it. And, personally, I know from personal experience how important it is to have a mentor and people like yourself helping people. I was born in the D Street projects, and, I had typical Irish family issues that other people in that area had, but because I had mentors, I had people who took a liking to me and helped me, and there were courses and different things that were available. I mean, I'm quite successful now. I have a good life, and that's not necessarily true for everybody in that environment, but what made my situation, one was my mindset, and certainly, you have to be committed to your success. You have to make that choice. But even if you make that choice and you have that mindset, without the mentors, without the people like yourself who have been there and done that, and guidance, myself, I know I would not be where I am today. So even though I didn't meet you, 30 years ago, I'm super grateful, and I'm a living testament to what you said and just how important it is. So again, from a personal level and professional, I want to thank you and people like you.
Thanks, Ron.
All right. Now, I know I don't. There is so much, and I want to let the listeners know. Usually, we have two subject matter experts, or I'll have one expert, and then the second episode, I will give tips on something. But Alex has so much to offer, and he's willing, and he gave us an hour, so we'll be breaking at about 10:30, and then we'll be going into more stuff that Alex can tell us about. Like his pillars of success and how you can see things and do things differently. But I'd like to talk a little bit. I don't know if like when you talked earlier, I don't know if I should just let you talk about like the beginning straight through, but I really liked how you distinguished between sales and marketing. Oftentimes when I'm working with people, they don't understand the difference between sales and marketing. Marketing is what gets you out there. Sales is what basically closes it. And how you talked about, the importance of the difference, but then also to being effective in the marketing, if I heard you correctly, practice on the sales part. Can you give us a little bit about that? And then, we can start right at the beginning, or we can start at the beginning and come back to that, whatever you think has more logistical sense.
Listen, it's your show, so I will follow any road we go on. So, to take the question that you just posed from a comment I made. So I guess the learnings from just going into sales for me initially versus marketing initially, that was really to just really understand the customer and understand the questions that you need to be asking them, and a lot of this is around listening, right? They always say sales is first and foremost is listening, and so just getting out and understanding kind of your who's your target market, who is your customer, what are the different personas of that customer, and so they come in different shapes and sizes, and you might have several different ones, and how are you talking to them, and the questions that you're asking, you're understanding kind of what their real needs are, the issues that they're facing, what are their goals, what are their objectives, and ultimately determining what your offering will provide them. So there's a lot of things that you're going to find, and this could be just done, this could be researched through marketing, but oftentimes, a good consultative salesperson can get out there and sort of help figure that out. And then marketing will sort of formalize a lot of that. But, I see so many young companies and startups and small businesses, and oftentimes they don't necessarily, focus in on getting that customer feedback early. And it's so important because it's your target customer that's going to tell you exactly, give you the roadmap, if you will, for what it is that, as I mentioned earlier, about, what are their needs and sort of their objectives, and then mapping your offering to that so that you're solving sort of a business problem for them. And so if you get out and you get those learnings, then it's also going to give you feedback for exactly what it is that you're creating and you're going to provide them. I meet so many startups where they're just kind of almost like the horse blinders on, and they've decided exactly what they want to do. If they were in the shoes of their target customer, then, this works. If they're not, then oftentimes they're going to just want to create what they believe it is that someone needs. And there's a miss there because you've got to get it in the hands of your customers and get that feedback and iterate and make changes and so on. So a lot of times a startup will just work in a vacuum, go and create something, build on it, work on it. Oftentimes they say, look, I'm in stealth mode, don't want to give away the secret sauce, or it's not quite done yet. I will tell you, in the case of Constant Contact, we brought the product out put it in the hands of our target customers, being small businesses, to get that immediate feedback. And stuff was breaking, and it wasn't ready for prime time. And it took a lot of patience on all fronts, theirs and ours, to actually create and formalize that offering based on sort of what they wanted. And so it started with questions like, what is it? What if there's what do you want, and what would make you successful if you had, if you had gotten what are you looking for? What would a product, like in the case of our initial offering, an email marketing offering, how would this help you? And so they would say things like, I want to stay top of mind with my current customers. I want my current customers to come back in and buy more. I want them to tell others. I want, to drive new business and have them, tell others. And, the list went on for the things they were looking for. And so we would see how they would get wide-eyed with, if we could solve the sort of those things for them, then, they would, gladly sort of take an offering from us. So putting it in their hands early, having learned from them and sort of iterate, which we continue to do, and always getting feedback. And you could do that aided, where you talk to them and tell them about it, and you could get their feedback, or unaided, where you hand them something, whether it's a prototype of a mobile app, or it's it's some screenshots, or it's something, and just or maybe they can just kind of poke around online with something you've built as a prototype that they can play with. And so when they go and do that, you kind of watch where they stumble and what's confusing or questions they ask, and so it's just really, really important, because that's going to help just formalize what you're going to design and ultimately give them. And of course, then marketing sits behind and next to this, helping as you go and formalize that. So then it's creating the messaging, and so for the next person who you might not have that one-on-one touch with, you've got to be able to take and deliver it in messaging, and on your website and any of your marketing materials, and really sort of get all that down so that it resonates with the next person who walks up, who wants to potentially take a look at what you're bringing to market.
I love it. So it sounds to me like you start with the results and the benefits, and then you put it in, and you work backwards from there, but you put it in front of some of the people who are your targeted audiences, solve their problems, and then and work with them, and they're going to tell you what their issues are. You're going to see whatever the solution you provided them with, they'll navigate through highs and lows, what was easy, what wasn't easy, and when you fine-tune that, then you kind of have created your prototype or your theme or your future messaging for similar type clients going forward.
Yeah, and then of course it's gonna you're kind of on a road, and you might be sort of switching lanes and kind of getting off a little of that highway and coming back on, or maybe you switch highways altogether. I mean, there's a lot of things. It's really getting down to what's that one core thing you're going to do that you're going to nail and have success with. And so you set up some guardrails around what you're actually creating after you've got all these sort of you started to get some of those learnings, and you're building that offering for your target customer. So you want to go and do that, but then you're going to have to continually test your messaging and where are they, what are they searching to get to, and then when they get there, is it a warm landing and they've gotten where they thought they should be, or are they abandoning in 2 seconds because they're sort of like, this isn't what I'm looking for. And so marketing plays such a key role. You're hand in hand with sales all the way, but it's really important to then be able to test. So you're solving a problem. You have a hypothesis for the solution. You bring that solution out, but then you're going to need to test that. And you might find simple wording and messaging, tweaked a little bit, might attract more people who then want to sort of follow through and reach out to buy your product or service. So you've got to continue to sort of I guess test and invest with once you've sort of figured that out initially, and then you've got to be ready to adapt. You can't sit there and say, okay, we've talked to our target market, we've created something, and we're messaging exactly what they want. Okay, we're done. I mean, the minute you go and put this up on a website or in a flyer or whatever, expect to be changing it quickly, because your learnings are going to always happen, and certainly in the early days, your target market and the folks you're talking to, your sample set's going to be small, and so you're going to run with it. But then you got to be ready to adapt as more people are coming forward to either take a look at what you're doing, and as your marketing engine starts kicking in, then you've got to make sure your messaging does fit perfectly with with the folks that are coming to you, and that they want to follow through and call you or sign up for the service or purchase the product, or so it's always testing and investing and sort of adapting your messaging.
I love it. Sort of try it, test it, and tweak it, huh?
Yeah.
The three T's: try it, test it, and tweak it. But also, that's kind of like create it and then sell it, then create it. But you create your prototype, then you work on it, like you're saying, and then you fine tune it, and then you push it out. But then you're constantly fine-tuning it as time goes on and needs change, technology changes, and whatever else the case may be, correct?
That's right.
Excellent. We're going to, what I'd like to do now is, we've covered so much and a lot of it's been background, so what I'd like to do is break here and then go into part 2 in a couple of minutes after commercials. And from there, then maybe you could give us a background on Constant Contact and also some of your pillars of success and some of these other companies that you've started. It's really about, I'd love for you to, share with the audience. I've talked to you. I know, the immense value you bring. So I kind of don't want to interfere. So, normally I can go back and forth and ask questions, and I love it. I get excited. But there's just so much that you can value the audience. So I kind of want you to take over if you're comfortable with that.
Sure.
But what I'd like to let the listeners know is that this show, as well as all shows, are archived. So these gems that you've heard and you're about to hear in the second episode, if you're unable to write it down because you're driving or you're at work, on the radio's website, WCAP 980 AM, as well as my website, RCS Technology Solutions and RCS Online Solutions, in a couple of days, I'll have the clip up, so you'll be able to go back and look in the archive section and listen to this episode all over again, as well as it will be up on YouTube. So if you're unable to write it down, again, it will be available to you. And right now we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we'll have part 2 of Alec Stern. You've been listening to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ron Couming, where we of RCS Technology Solutions and RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs, much like you, attract, convert, and retain their ideal customers and clients using various Internet marketing techniques and methods.